increasing. Okay, we have a theorem. What is the theorem? Based on this theorem only, we are concluding at which interval my f of x is increasing, at which interval my f of x is decreasing, right? So let f be a continuous function. F is continuous on the closed interval and differentiable. F is differentiable on the open interval. That is, the function is continuous function and differentiable function. Then only we can discuss about the continuous increasing, decreasing. Okay. Then my first case is my f is increasing. My f is increasing in a comma b, closed interval a comma b. Okay, if my f dash of x is greater than 0 for all x in this interval. That means in a particular interval, my f dash of x is greater than 0, then my f of x is increasing. My f is decreasing, actually f is decreasing if my f dash of x is negative, less than 0 for every x belongs to that interval a comma b. Okay, that is my f is decreasing. Based on that, we are my f dash of x is less than 0, negative. I am concluding my f of x is decreasing. Okay, and my f is constant function. Constant means neither increasing nor decreasing. Okay, that is a constant function. Look at that. I am taking my y is equal to 2 is a constant function. Y is equal to 2 is a strictly constant function. Okay, so here suppose I am taking my x1 and my x2. My x1 is less than x2. Okay, what about your f of x1 and f of x2? Your f of x1 and f of x2 both are same. That is a constant function. Okay, right. This is from the graph we are defining. We don't know the graph, sir. We don't know how to draw the graph, sir. Then go for this derivative test, this theorem. Find out your f dash of x. Okay, that is greater than 0, the function is increasing. Less than 0, the function is decreasing. If my f dash of x is equal to 0, my f is constant. Okay, so you differentiate this. If you take y is equal to 2 or f of x is equal to 2, then what is your f dash of x? Your f dash of x is equal to 0. Okay, so therefore the differentiation is 0. 1 minute. Yeah, dear students, I'm sorry. And today we have a 115 to 215 physics only. This period, this is a physics period. Just now I received some call from Hasikas. Okay, 2:30 to 3:30 we will meet. 2:30 to 3:30 we have a max class. Okay, pa? Are you clear? Yes, I hope the physics we will discuss, we revise both the topics, okay, in our next class. Sorry, student. Just a minute. Sir will come. Physics sir will come. Sir, is it Shailendra Kumar sir, is it possible to make as a host? Once again, sir, I am trying. Yes, yes, I am doing, sir. I participant can chat with option only coming, sir. Just a minute, sir.
Hello, sir. Marimuthu, sir. Marimuthu, sir, can you hear me? Good afternoon, students. Okay. So, I don't know, little bit of confusion was there, I guess. I was also confused whether to enter in this batch or in this batch one. Okay, anyways. So, yesterday we had done few questions, right? And I don't know whether from this batch or from other batch, I don't know. I didn't go ask in that batch still. A question for question this request for 17th question had come. Are you from this batch only? For question number 17, are you from this batch only? The person who had asked, are you from this batch only? Yes. Okay, I guess from the first batch then. Okay, fine. So I hope you would have solved these questions. Okay. And within the date, I expect all of you to submit it soon. Is it fine? So I told you that we'll start with emotional EMF questions. So here are the questions of emotional EMF for you to practice. Okay, so we'll start one by one. So these questions, shall I solve or you will solve first, and then after that I'll help you to solve. Okay, shall we do it like that? Yes, can you all hear me? If you can hear me, just write in the chat. Okay. So I'll just give you 15 seconds to solve the question. Okay, because we have solved so many questions. You have solved so many questions. You solve it. Okay, take 10 seconds, 15 seconds to answer this, and then I will go ahead with the problem. Yes, start. So this is the first question in front of you. The first question is in front of you. Just start solving this one. So a rectangular coil is there. Okay. ABCD is rotated anti-clockwise with a uniform angular velocity. Okay. About the axis shown in diagram. Now below, okay, shown in the diagram below, the axis of rotation of the coil as well as magnetic field are horizontal. The induced EMF in the coil would be maximum when? Yes. Okay. I got one answer, C. Anybody else? Okay, screen is not visible. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I guess some. What is happening? Okay, this. Now okay. Okay. So I have got answers C, C. Okay, one answer as A. Okay, two answers. Two people have answered A, remaining have answered C. Okay. Two students have answered A, remaining have answered C. So the correct option is A. Okay. The plane of the coil is horizontal. Now just read the question properly and then try to answer. The induced EMF in the coil would be maximum when the plane of the coil is horizontal, the plane of the coil is at right angled with the magnetic field. Now, why are we saying horizontal and why you are saying as right angle? Both of you are wrong, but the perception is wrong. Okay, all those who are stating C. Now, when it is C, first we'll see at the option number C. What we have to do, we have to see the area vector. We have to see the area vector, okay? And we have to see the magnetic field. So if my magnetic field is like this, if my magnetic field is like this, okay? If my magnetic field is like this, wait a minute. If the induced EMF in the coil would be maximum when the plane of the coil is at right angle to the magnetic field. Okay, fine. Maximum, no? Sorry. It's A only. It's A only. It's A only. Oh, sorry, C. Option C is only correct. C is only correct. Why? Because when I make it like this, and when I have a plane like this, okay, when the area is perpendicular to the magnetic field, so the area vector will be along it. So magnetic field vector as well as area vector, they both are in the same direction. So angle will be 0 degree. But when it is horizontal, but when suppose if I keep it horizontal like this, if I keep it horizontal like this, okay, so the area vector is perpendicular to the magnetic field, so angle becomes 90 degree. So induced EMF, okay, for phi it will become 0. Phi will become 0 in this case. Phi will be maximum in this case. So option C is correct. Okay, option C is correct. All those who have answered C is correct. Okay, question number 2. Read the question number 2. All those who have solved question number 1, just go to question number 2. Yes, do it fast. You people are taking a lot of time. Okay, 2 answers I've got from Mohan and Stanley. Okay, Nagraju. Same answers. I hope they are correct. Okay, see here. I'll solve it for you. I've got, okay, one option I've got as D. Just see here. A 10-meter wire is kept east-west, okay, falling with the velocity 5 meter per second. Okay, 5 meter per second, they have, with that speed, this wire is falling. So velocity I have got here, I have got the length of the wire, I have got the magnetic field of the wire, okay, magnetic field in which the wire is kept, and it is perpendicular. So nothing I have to do, I have to just multiply them all together, BLV. So now basically what I'll be doing is the job of class 5 fifth student. Okay, so few people have answered D, few people have answered B, and I don't know who doesn't know to multiply. Okay, let us see. So B is 0.3. 0.3 into 10 to the power minus 4 into L. L is 10 meters. V is 5 meters per second. Okay, so this becomes 1.5. 1.5. Okay, and this is what? 10. So this becomes 10 to the power minus 3. So I will write this as 1.5 millivolt. Option B is correct. What about this one? You have left this thing. What you people have done? 5 into 3.3, 1.5, 1.5 into 10, 15. All those who have answered D. Yes? Yes, sir. So yes, sir means minus 1. Understood? Yes, sir means minus 1 in exam. Do you get it? So don't do that mistake. Be little careful. If you take 10 seconds extra, 5 seconds extra, there is no problem. But don't take minus 1 marks. Okay, for this question, you know everything. For this question, you know everything, that you don't have to know any extra thing so that you cannot solve this. Okay, you know everything for this question. Just because of hurry, you have made this question wrong. So instead of getting 4 marks, you will be awarded -1 marks, and the difference will be of 5 marks. Don't count this as -1. Count that as -5, because you could get 4, but you are getting -1. So that's a difference of 5 marks. Okay. So take a little bit of time. Don't worry. Okay. You will have a lot of time. So at least these questions don't do wrong. Okay. Just see this question number 3. Question number 3. Quickly see this question number 3. Okay. One question, one answer I have got as D. Anybody else? Okay. Most of them are answering D, but I have one student writing B. Okay, if you are saying B, why not C? Look into this case. What is the case over here? Suppose if I have a rod like this. Suppose if I have a rod which is kept like this. Okay. Now, what is the direction of magnetic field? What is the direction of magnetic field? Let us first draw that. Let me first draw that. So from north to south, we are having the magnetic field direction. Now, within this magnetic field only, we have this rod. Is it not? So between this magnetic field only, we are having this rod. Now, when I take this along L, or when I take this along Q, if I take this along L, or if I take this along Q, what is happening? Is it cutting any magnetic field? No, because whatever width you are having, whatever width you have got, okay, whatever width you have got across the top surface and the bottom surface, that length is very, very small. So that EMF induced is less. I have already told you. Okay. Same thing I can say when this rod is brought along this axis P. Okay. Along this axis, if it is done, okay, so the EMF is not induced. Only the EMF will be induced when it is moving perpendicular. Whenever it is perpendicular, that case it will be having the maximum magnetic EMF induced. So in the case of D, what will happen? The potential difference between the ends of the conductor will be there. Okay. So option D is correct here. Did you understand? Yes. Did you understand this question number 3? Question number 3, did you understand? Okay. So if you have solved 3, solve 4th one. Question number 4. Question number 4. Question number 4. Okay. C also I'm getting, and B also I'm getting. Anybody wants to change their answer? Okay, fine. Let us solve this one. Now, what is this case over here? See, 2 rails of a railway track, okay, insulated from each other. So 2 rails we have. We have 2 rails like this. We are having 2 rails like this. Okay. They are insulated from each other. Okay. They are not connected with each other. If they are not insulated from each other, that means they have to be drawn like that. Now, if they would have said me that 2 rails of a railway track not insulated. Okay. connected or not insulated, so I would have drawn it like this. So one conductor would I would place, which would join these two rails. Okay, now because they are insulated from each other, so I have to draw them like this. Okay, because they are insulated, they have to be drawn like that. Now if this insulation would have not been there, so what you would have done, you would have joined it like this. Understood? So every word in the question will have a significant meaning. Now from each other and the ground are connected. Okay, now see here, and the ground are connected to millivoltmeter. So this one, okay, this rail as well as this rail, they both are connected to ground. They both are connected to ground. Okay, now when they are connected to the ground, okay, do you think this voltmeter will give you any reading? Do you think this voltmeter will give you any reading if they are connected to the ground? Because in ground, okay, see, voltmeter is deflecting, means a little bit of current should pass. Okay, then only the reading will be there. Now, if it is connected to ground, okay, will it show you the potential difference, or will it show you the reading? Will it show you the reading? First, I'm asking that. Will it show you the reading? Yes or no? No, because charge gets completely distributed in the ground. Okay, so if the charge is completely getting distributed, then how can you calculate the potential? How can you calculate the potential difference? How can you calculate the potential difference? Yes. Okay, induced EMF is also the potential difference only, na? Induced EMF is also the potential difference only, na? So, okay, fine. So let me tell you, this voltmeter will show you the reading. This voltmeter will show you the reading. Okay. And one more thing I should tell you, that this voltmeter is connected to the ground such that it shows you the potential as well as potential difference. Now, I want to take this question a little bit more. Okay. I want to explain you the meaning. Okay. I want to explain you the meaning of this point. Railway tracks, okay, insulation which have done, they are connected with each other and the ground. Okay, ground and railway tracks are connected. When we connect voltmeter to ground, what happens in that situation? I want to explain you that. Why I want to explain? Because a question was asked in advance based on this. In JEE Advanced, this is using this concept, only one question was asked. That's why I want to take this question, okay, to explain you that point. Now you tell me that suppose if this is a resistor and this is the battery. Okay, this is the battery over here, battery. Now, if I want to calculate the potential difference across this wire, across this resistor, what should I connect? I will connect a voltmeter. I will connect a voltmeter. Is it fine? I will connect a voltmeter in this, like this. So is this voltmeter, okay, voltmeter gives you potential difference or it gives you potential of a point? Yes. What does it gives? Does it gives potential difference or does it gives potential only? This is the question. We'll come back to the question. But answer to this question right now. Voltmeter gives you potential difference or potential? Yes. It gives you potential difference. It does not gives you potential. It does not gives you potential. Understood? It gives you potential difference, not potential. You just see the lecture of voltmeter. There is one student who is answering like that. Okay, so it does gives potential difference, not potential. Okay, but can you make this voltmeter, can you make this voltmeter to measure potential or not? Can you make this voltmeter to measure potential or not? If it gives me potential difference, can I make this to measure potential? If yes, how? If no, then that's okay. If yes, you should tell me how you will make a potential voltmeter to read potential. Yes, Balaji and Keshav. How will you make a voltmeter to show you the potential value, not potential difference? It measures potential difference only. It cannot measure potential. But if I want to measure potential, how will you do that? So just check over here. See how what to do. If I want to calculate the potential of a point, so what I'll do, I'll just take a point. Okay, I'll connect this end with the voltmeter and this end with the ground. Now the potential of the ground is assumed to be 0. Okay, potential of this point will be V. Now if I want to calculate the potential of this point, so what I will write it now, V minus Vg, and it will give you a reading, suppose 5. Now Vg value is 0, so V becomes what, 5. So this Vg, this potential difference, though this voltmeter gives me potential difference only, but that potential difference is equals to potential also. In this case, why? Because one end is connected to 0 potential. Because one end is connected to the 0 potential. Understood? So in this question number 4, when you connect this voltmeter to the ground, when you connect this voltmeter to the ground, what will happen? Though it will give you potential difference also, but that reading will be also a potential. Okay, that reading will also be of the potential of that point. So if you want voltmeter to show you the potential instead of potential difference, okay, you want to take potential of the point. So what you have to do, just connect one end at that point where you want to calculate it, and one end you just put it at the ground, so that this becomes Vg becomes 0 and this point is A. So potential difference between A and Vg becomes whatever it is, suppose 10. Vg value is 0, so potential of this point is 10. See here, 20 minus 10 is also 10 and 10 minus 0 is also 10. Okay, so the 10 becomes what, potential value, and this is what, potential difference. So voltmeter shows me this reading, it does not shows me this reading. So if I take this case, I can calculate the potential difference, potential as well as potential difference. So based on this question only, based on this concept only, okay, in advance one question was framed. I don't know the year, if I'm not wrong, it is to 2019 or 2018. I'm not sure of that year. Okay, but one question is framed in advance like this, based on this concept only. So that's why I wanted to take this. Now come back to the question. So we have two rails. Okay, we have two rails. Understood? And this is the rail. Okay, it is moving like this. It is moving like this because this is a rail. Okay, so it will move like this. With what speed? 180 kilometers per hour. Now I have to convert this into meter per hours. So how would I do that? Multiplied by 5 by 80. So this becomes 10, 50. Okay, so this becomes 50 in that case. 50, okay, 50 meters per second. So I have 50 into, what is the length? 1 meter. What is the magnetic field? 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, so just eliminate this 10, so 10 to the power minus 3. So option C is correct. Question number 4, option C is correct. So I had seen few people answering as D also. D also, yes, one student. B also I had got 10 to the power minus 4. Okay, so the correct option is C. Now question number 5. Question number 5. Question number 5. Question number 5 is a conductor of, okay, option B. Okay, let us check. A conductor of 3 meter in length is moving perpendicularly to magnetic field of 10 to the power minus 3 Tesla with the speed of 10 to the power 2 meter per second. The EMF produced across the conductor will be. Okay, so this is the 5th question. So what you should do in this, everything do we have everything? Yes, length is given to me, magnetic field is given to me, this is, and it is moving perpendicularly. So just multiply them. So 0.3, I guess, with the values, this is 3, this is 10 to the power minus 3, this is 10 to the power 2. So this becomes 10 to the power minus 1 into 3, so 0.3. Option B. Question number 6. Question number 6. When a wire loop is rotated in a magnetic field, the direction of induced EMF changes once in every half revolution. Changes in every half revolution. Okay, so that's also option B. That's a topic of this. What do you say? Oscillation. That's the topic of oscillation. Is it okay? That's the topic of oscillation. Now, question number 7. Question number 7. Option is on the next page. Options are on the next page. Question number 7. Options are on next page. Yes. Okay, I'll draw the figure for you. Then you can reply. Suppose this is a plane. Okay, suppose this is a plane. And these are the wings. These are the wings. Okay, fine. Now they are saying that an aeroplane is in which the distance between the tips of the wings, okay, is 50 meter. So from here to here, between the tips of the wings, okay, is 50 meter. And the plane is flying horizontally. Okay, the plane is flying horizontally with the speed of 360 kilometers per hour. So the speed is in this direction, 360 kilometers per hour. So 360 kilometers per hour means how much? So it will be 100 meters per second. Okay. And vertical component of magnetic field is, vertical component means perpendicular to this plane. Perpendicular to this plane will be like this, going into the paper. Okay, magnetic field is given to me. Just multiply everything now. 50 into 100 into 2 into 10 to the power minus 4. So minus 4 is there. So 1, 2, 3, 1. And this is 10. So this also gets cancelled. So 1 volt. 1 volt. Is it okay? 1 volt will be the correct answer. Option B. Option B. Okay. 50 into 2, 100 into 100, 10 to the power plus 4 and 10 to the power minus 4. So it becomes 1 then. Multiplication. Why you people are doing wrong in multiplying the things? Question number 8. Did you understand question number 7? Did you understand question number 7? Did you understand question number 7, or is there anyone who is having any kind of doubt in this? Yes? Okay, fine. Question number 8. Question number 8. Question number 8. Question number 8. A copper disc is there of radius 1 meter is rotated about its center. Okay. So this is a copper disc. Suppose this is its center. Okay. And it is rotated with what speed? 10 revolutions per second. So 10 RPS is the speed given. Magnetic field is 0.1 Tesla, 0.1 Tesla. And magnetic field is perpendicular. Okay. Calculate the EMF across the radius of the wire. You cannot get a simpler question than this. You cannot get a simpler question than this. Now just solve this one. Now you have to just solve this question problem. What's the option? C, B, D, C, B. Is there anyone with A also? I have got C, I have got B, I have got D. Nobody has answered A. Anybody with A also? Nobody with A. Okay, let us see how to solve this one. So half, okay, magnetic field value is 0.1 omega. Okay, before omega, leave that omega for now. Okay, radius square, so 0.1 into 0.1. Now how will you find out omega here? Okay, how will you find out omega over here? That's the problem. So it is saying 10 RPS, 10 revolutions in 1 second. Now in 1 revolutions, how many angles are there? In 1 revolutions, how many angles are there? In 1 revolutions, how many angles are there? 2 pi. So how many revolutions it is making? How many revolutions it's making? 2 pi revolutions. Sorry, how many revolutions it's making? 10. So 2 pi into 10 will be what? Total revolutions. And this particle, this copper disc is rotating in 1 second. So this becomes radian per second. So what is the value of omega? What is the value of omega? 2 pi n. So 2 pi into 10. So what is the omega value now? What is the omega value now? 2 pi into n. 2 pi into n. Okay. 2 pi into n is 10. Did you understand? So 2 and 2 gets cancelled. Okay. Then I'm having 1, 2, 3. So 1 I can cancel with this. So I'm having pi into 10 to the power minus 2 volt. Option C is correct. Option C is correct. For question number 9, option C is correct. Is it okay? So just remember one thing. If RPS is given, so speed will be, omega will be 2 pi n. Okay. if you have got n RPS, if you have got n RPS, so 2 pi n will be omega. If you have got RPM, so 2 pi n by 60 will be the value of omega. So just try to remember these things. Okay, just try to remember, okay, that if revolutions per minute and revolutions per second, that's the formula. So revolutions per second, so means in 1 second one revolution, in 1 second one revolution it is doing. Now if I say it is doing 10 revolutions per second, so in 1 revolutions it is making 2 pi angle, so in 10 revolutions it will make 2 pi into 10 angle. So this is angle in per second, means already it is divided by 1. So you just have to multiply with the angle 2 pi. Now it is what? Radian per second. So this is already a omega value. If it is, they are giving me minute over here. If they are giving me minute over here, so I'll just divide this by 60. I'll just divide this by 60 and then this will become into omega, radians per second. Otherwise that unit will be radian per meter, okay, which you cannot put in the formula. It has to be in SI system. I hope this is clear to you. So the correct answer is option C. I'm removing this from here. Okay, where shall I put? Okay, so I'll remove this one over here. Question number 9. Question number 9. All of you read question number 9. Do it fast. Question number 9. A metal conductor of length 1 meter rotates vertically about one of its end at angular velocity. So see here, they have already provided me this thing. Okay, 5 radians per second. Angular velocity they have already provided me. Angular velocity they have already provided us. Okay, omega they have already given us. This is the magnetic field. This is length. Can you calculate everything now? Half B omega L square will be EMF induced. Can you solve this? Shall I leave this problem? Why you people are not answering same? Some or the other people are having different options. That's why I have to solve every problem. What wrong you have done in this now? Option A, option D, option C, option D. Anybody with option B? Anybody who is getting option B? Okay, A. Anybody with option B? No one. Option C and option B are same only. Option C and option B are same only. Okay, so either you should say A or D if you are having any doubt. You should not say B or C simply, because B and C are both same thing. No, they are not same thing. No, they are not same. They are not same. Okay, see here how to solve this. Half magnetic field 0.2 into 10 to the power minus 4 omega 5 and magnetic this length will be 1 square. So you have to just solve this thing now. So just divide this, you will get 10. Okay, you will get it 10. And now solve this one. Now you just solve this, you'll get the answer. Okay. So you are having 50 into 10 to the power minus 4. This is what I'm getting. 50 into 10 to the power minus 4. It's not there in the option, no? Okay, A should be the correct answer. A should be the correct answer in this case. Sorry. This is, I have done wrong. This, when I divide this, it should be 0.1. It should be 0.1. Okay. Now it's fine. 0.1. 0.1. So it will be 0.1 into 10 power minus 5, 5. So 50 into 10 power minus 6. So this becomes 50 microvolt. Option D is correct. Option D is correct. Option D is correct. Okay. 0.2 divided by 2 is 0.1. 0.2 divided by 2 is 0.1. Okay. So option D is correct. Option D is correct. Okay. Option D is correct. Question number 10. Question number 10. Just check question number 10. A conducting square loop of side L and resistance R moves in its plane with a uniform velocity V, okay, to one of its side. A magnetic induction B, constant in time and space, pointing perpendicular and into the plane of the loop, exists everywhere. Okay, it exists everywhere now. The current induced in the loop is, what is the option? Okay, Sanjita. Why is it that? Why are you telling that option? Why are you telling that option, Sanjita and Stanley? Can you justify your statement? Why you are telling that? Why are you telling that? Okay, there is no change in flux. There is no change in flux. That is what you are saying. I'm asking you, Sanjita, I'm asking you that why are you saying that option is correct? I want the reason. I want the reason why are you actually saying that option is correct. Yes. It's option D. Now see here in this question they have said, that it exists everywhere. That is the main thing. Okay, you have to understand. It exists everywhere. When it exists everywhere, that means, okay, that means that there is no change of flux. There will be no change of flux because everywhere the same field is there. Everywhere it is having same field. Understood? Everywhere it is having the same field. So that loop, when it is moving, okay, so a constant flux passes through it. A constant flux passes through it. Understood? Suppose if I say that everywhere you are having a constant magnetic field, everywhere we are having constant magnetic field like this. Okay. everywhere I'm having a constant magnetic field like this. Like this, okay? And now if I make a loop, like this, understood? Now I make a loop like this, and I take this loop inside this magnetic field. Now everywhere if I move, the flux is constant, almost same flux is there. So anywhere if I move, the flux is constant. But in the case of motional EMF, if you remember what you had studied, what did you study about the motion in motional EMF? Yes, what you had studied about the in motional EMF, that when you have a loop like this, okay, this rod which was here, okay, okay, it was moving like this, so the flux was increasing, like this. But if the loop is like this, and if I move this one, okay, so what will happen when I move this loop inside it? Okay, when I move this loop anywhere, the flux is same. That's why it is 0. That's why the option is 0, because the flux is not changing. The flux is constant wherever you take the loop. So that's the reason the magnetic field induced will be 0. The current induced in the loop will be 0. Is it understood now? So this is the reason. So up to question number 10 we have solved. Okay. Just take down the remaining questions. Okay. Take down the remaining questions. Do it fast, but okay. Do it fast. This is first 7 questions. With solution you take, no problem. Do it fast. So all the questions, 25 questions from Faraday's law, 33 questions from this. Okay, all the questions I want you people to solve and then go into the exam on Sunday. Okay. From question number 8. Question number 8. Okay. This is what you wanted, Preeti. Question number 8, this one. Okay. So with this, I'll end this session. Okay. Good luck for your exam and write it properly. Only motional EMF and Faraday law is there. Okay. Write it properly. And from Monday, we can resume our topics. Okay. We can start with the self-inductance. And next week, probably I'll keep that self-inductance, mutual inductance. Whatever portions are left, we'll keep for the next week. Okay. Thank you.